Welcome back. You're listening to W Stony Brook. I'm here at Amityville Musical. I'm joined by the band A Lot Like Birds. We're here on Long Island touring with Emerosa. It's been going on for a month or so, and we decided to stop here on Long Island. So how about you guys introduce yourselves to our people who do not know you?
Yeah, my name is Matt, and I play bass and sing in the band.
I'm Michael Franzino, and I play guitar.
My name is Corey, and I'm a singer in the band.
So, for the people who do not know you, when did you guys start? Just kind of give a quick bio of A Lot Like Birds.
In 2009, I made a record where I just invited a bunch of musicians to come play on it. We didn't really have a band formed yet. And one of those musicians was Corey. And then after that, we kind of formed a band that was more permanent. We found Joe to play actual drums, as our first record had programmed drums. And then eventually we found Matt from Boise, Idaho. And yeah.
Here we are.
People joined, we played music, it was pretty cool.
So, like I said, you guys been touring with Emerosa for the past about month. So how's that been going? And what do you like most about this tour as compared to maybe some other ones?
Well, we're only really about a week into the Emerosa tour, actually. It just started. It's been really good. Really low. It's been a really chill tour compared to some we've been on. Everyone's really nice and laid back, and we've definitely been having fun. We just played New York, Brooklyn last night, and it's a really good show.
What kind of realized about this tour is it a little bit more intimate with the venues that you guys are playing. So, is that something you're enjoying more as compared to past tours?
I mean, there's cool aspects to both of it, or both different scenarios. We've played a lot of the venues we're playing on this tour already, so we already kind of know what to expect. Mm-hmm. So in that way, it's comfortable and it's fun. But it's cool either way. Both ways, fun. We just like playing music,
So, as touring musicians, you probably hit New York multiple times. So, how about you guys share maybe your first experience when hitting Long Island?
I think that was, we've only been to Long Island, or we've only toured through Long Island once, and that was on the Dance Gavin Dance 10-year tour. We thought it was here, but I guess it's not. Did there used to be another
Revolution concert house that we played?
Yeah, it's down the street.
Okay, yeah. That venue was cool, from what I remember.
Was New York what you expected it to be, being like the first time being here?
When we were in like the city, like it definitely was like it was extremely fast paced and very like a horn is always going. Like there is always a horn, and walking and getting around is crazy. There's a bunch of good food. There's a bunch of insane people. It's like I always tell people that New York City to me lived up to the expectation more than any other city I've been to.
Yeah.
So before we start talking about your latest release, how about you guys share some of your favorite releases of 2017?
Ooh.
The new Manchester.
Oh yeah, dang it! Stealing my thunder here. Yeah, the new Manchester Orchestra album is incredible.
What else released this year?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
This is a hard question, so I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's honestly more that we just listen to such a
wide variety
of
stuff.
Of music.
Cardi B put out the best single of 2017. That's for sure.
I've been listening to a band called Blood Command that put out an album this year called Nervous Laughter. It's really good. And our friend in So Much Light put out a record called Oh Yuck recently. Been listening to that a lot.
Big Thief put out a record called Capacity. I'm all about that.
I've been a big fan of the band Can't Swim, and they put out a record called Fail You Again. I bumped that one a lot. It's really good.
Oh, from Indian Lakes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're really good. Their last release was kind of like really Radiohead like, kind of like their latest record, Moon Shaped Pool, kind of had that like
Yeah.
lowish vibe. I don't know how to describe it, but it was really cool.
Oh, Hotelier's new record is good too.
All right, so let's get serious and start talking about your latest record, DIVISI. So, what made you name that record DIVISI? And online is defined as divided. Was there any other titles that came to mind before choosing DIVISI to represent it?
Yeah, like with naming anything, there's always a million ideas. I mean, we probably had 1,000,001 that we were deciding between, but any that found anything that hit really hard. But DIVISI, a lot of times, is a musical term actually that means like a division within one section. And we kind of talked about. I think Michael brought the name up. Didn't you bring the name up?
Yeah. Like most of the record, I'm speaking for Corey here, but it is about. It's largely about loss and dealing with death. So like. There were a lot of meaningful divides that like kind of occurred around the record, and I felt like it kind of encompassed them. The second runner-up was going to be Legacy. Actually, that was Corey's.
All right, so one of the most like interesting aspects of the record was just your complete change in sound, which that was the biggest thing talking around like the internet, like as compared to like your earlier record. For you guys, when writing and producing this record, was it different approach to writing the lyrics, writing these songs structure?
Yeah. Were you trying to go, Corey? I can see you.
A huge thing for me is like I always try to write lyrics prior to filling out a melody, and when I was screaming much more, I didn't even have to worry about a melody at all. It was all just fitting words into a line and worrying about cadence. But this time around, I listened. It did pretty much the same thing. Sat down in a room by myself, turned all the lights off, and drank a bunch of wine, and and wrote the lyrics, and then we tried to format melody to them afterwards. And then, but then there were other times where melody ideas came first. So I don't know. I personally don't depart too much from my own process. This was the biggest that I've ever stepped out and done something different.
So like you said, taking over kind of the clean vocals and making those melodies, was it difficult for you at first, or did it come naturally over time, or did you try to find inspiration through other artists or different ways? It was
definitely, since it was such new territory, the way that we approached it was by I would come up with if a melody like struck out to me in my head, we would pre-pro it and we would go from there. But the nice thing about having a group of musicians that can work collaboratively really well is that we were able to fill in a lot of the gaps. And if I didn't have a melody idea, Matt would step in. Matt would create a lot of the harmonies, and so having like a much more shared vocal duty was a really important thing that made this record possible at all.
Again, with this with change in sound, was there a lot more demoing while like on this record as compared to other releases?
Yeah, this is like for sure our most revision heavy record of all time. I think before DIVISI, it was like vocals were actually like written like in the studio, like the day before they would put it down. I think this record we very meticulously pre-pro'd all the vocals, and like went through several versions of songs. 2 of the songs were entirely like rewritten the night before they were tracked,
and some almost scrapped, like the song "Infinite Chances," which was an entirely different song before we went into record. And then some songs, like the song "Good Soil, Bad Seeds," was the first song that we completed musically, and that song, I think, like 10 or 12 different versions of it later. We have the album version. So, I mean, not every song was that insane, but when we, like Michael said, we had spent a long time just making sure we were doing it right and doing the songs the justice they deserved. And yeah.
What were your favorite aspects of the album? Like the different things you experimented sound-wise that you want to try to implement in the future?
I don't know if this answers your question, but the general thing we kept in mind when we did this record as opposed to other records, I think like all of our records kind of have a mission statement. Like No Place's mission statement was just like A, write a concept record, B, like we wanted it to just be as bizarre as possible. Like there's just a lot of weird time stuff, like a lot of strange chord decisions. We just like really wanted to experiment with that record, and then the mission statement for this record was more like do more with less, and we wanted to try writing like traditionally structured songs. So we hadn't really explored that in A Lot Like Birds yet. So we had like verses and choruses, which like is I don't know if most people would imagine it to be this way, but it's harder to write stuff that's worth repeating. It's like much easier to write just a string of things.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to like make it constructive and feel good, you know. So sometimes it feels like you're in this box and you're forced certain things. But yeah, that's kind of the fun in it, though, is finding your way around those hurdles.
So how was transferring this record to a live setting? Was it easier than you guys expected to be, or not?
I don't know. I was about what I expected, I guess. We have an entirely new rig now, which is new for our live sound, where we're all on in-ears, and we like all have click in our ears, and just making that transition is a big leap. So that's new. Yeah, definitely.
How did you guys go about branding this record?
Well, one of the main reasons we picked DIVISI was that like it looks good.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things is that it's just memorable, and like I don't know, a one-word title I personally feel like is powerful, and we went with Marco Mazzani. We actually had a couple artists that we talked to, but like ultimately decided on Marco Mazzani, who's just an incredible artist. We tried to just like have all of the art for the album be just his work as unadulterated as possible, because he's just so good, and I feel like he has a very distinctive style, and we're very grateful that he's willing to be associated with what we do so heavily and closely.
So let's move on to the music videos on the record. There are three, but two I want to talk about were Trace the Lines and The Sound of Us. It was kind of a two-parter music video. What went into the making of those?
Well,
a lot of stress.
A lot of stress. We literally filmed that in like 2 days, and there's a lot of crazy variables, but a lot of the vision of it kind of came from our director, and he had like kind of an idea, and of course we like put our 2 cents in and kind of worked on collaborating to make the product, but he definitely came in with a lot of ideas that were kind of hard to understand at first, but once we saw them in action, it was like, oh, okay. And then of course we had our awesome actor Frankie Ray in that, and he's an awesome dude, a total goofball. He's just as silly and crazy as he is in real life as he is in the videos, but I don't know.
Yeah, the video was especially difficult because we made the decision to have him come to us rather than us to him. So like basically all of the planning and like coordinating for the video and location scouting was like done by me. But yeah, so like I had to like find that boat, and then cast a bunch of people who were over 50 on a Wednesday morning, and somehow we did it. It turned out pretty cool.
So one last question for the record. You guys started the record and ended the record with the same lyrical words. And for the audience that doesn't know what it is, it goes, "Don't we all arrive at the same place where we begin?" So was that kind of like a main choice to start the record and end the record that way?
Yeah. We knew that we were going to do that before we wrote the song, the final song. So we kind of like tailored it to that idea. We wanted it to be as circular as the statement is.
So how about you guys maybe just share some future plans for the band, whether it's musically, whether you guys want to go into the studio for like a couple months to write, or just keep touring for now?
When I get back, I'm gonna take up a residency in a local studio and just start writing as much as I can, because we're not going to be touring probably for the rest of 2018. We might do something small in the winter, like in December or something like that. But yeah, we're just gonna try to write a bunch of music and see if we can get another record going.
All right, how about you also just maybe share where people can find you and keep up to date with your music?
Yeah. We're on, of course, all the major music outlets like Spotify, YouTube, of course, Apple Music, all the main areas. Find us on there. There's a lot like Birds. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, all the good stuff.
Yeah, all the handles are just a lot like Birds.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining me and talking about the latest record. Hopefully in the future, if you're on Long Island, we tried to get you in the studio for today, but no acoustics, so but definitely keep up to date and maybe we can make it happen. That's it. Make sure to check out A Lot Like Birds on Facebook, Spotify, all those things, and stay tuned for the next interview with Emerosa.